Stella Sora. Okay, as you see here, I pulled for the newest character Fuyuka. I have waited a little bit because I wanted to complete the newest story chapter as well as some of the side events, the bond story for this respective unit, and the bond story for Nazuna because they do kind of tie in together. Now, first and foremost, I want to present two things. I'm obviously level 39. I have participated in the previous raid, which is the equivalent of Total Assault if you're a Blue Archive player, Echoing Finale. Now, I did so under a Amber team. I did not pull Shia. I pulled Chitose. I pulled Fuyuka. Chitose, I got extremely early. I did get her weapon, respectively, or essentially her disc. And on Fuyuka, I went to a max 120. I didn't get her at 120, I claimed, and so I am really close to Pity. If we're going over here, we have Pity details. As you see here, I'm 31 away from Pity on any banner, so I'm saving this for the next unit that I actually like. I did get her disc, and during my polls on her banner, I ended up walking away with 2 additional copies of Mystique Agari and 1 copy of her as well as some, light dupes on other characters. Previously, my Ignis team was consisting of Amber as the main DPS, Jicia as the supports, and previously Casimira because I didn't have Flora. I have Flora now, but I prefer Nazuna just for raw healing. And so my team as of right now is Fuyuka, Jicia, Nazuna. And with this being said, I do kind of want to find a replacement for Jicia because I don't want my fire teams to overlap with using the exact same unit because I don't know if that's going to affect me trying to drag them into Echoing Finale. Blue Archive, like having separate teams because you cannot repeat the same character. I want to see how that works here. Now, if we're going by affinity, as you see here, I've done a lot of affinity events. I've unlocked a lot of live 2Ds. Have I done all the bond stories for these units? No, I just got a Rage. So I need to do hers. But in terms of the game itself, I like it. I've been playing since launch. I've logged in every day. I've kept up with the story. I've kept up with the events. I can actually wholeheartedly recommend this game. Now, previously, it was a tentative recommendation because I wanted to see how they did on the next banner. I wanted to see how the events were. I wanted to see how Echoing Finale was, and I like it. I partake in all of the content. If we're going into Menace Arena, I've completely cleared out Infinite Arena. Now, I do obviously need to progress into these, and I could probably push more into Aqua, but my fire team has pushed decently up to stage 7, and that's just with pure auto. I've just left it running in the background. But Infinite Arena is completely done. I just don't know if they're adding more. For my records, I only recently did a run with Fuyuka and then Flora Fuyuka, just to see which one I preferred the healing of. And I like the consistency of Nazuna, but as you see here, my records were slightly different because I didn't have the limited disc. Now, I have fully completed the main story, and I do like it. I like the way this game does its main story more than Blue Archive because I like the protagonist more than Blue Archive. First off, the protagonist is cute regardless, so go with whatever you want, but I prefer the protagonist more than BA. And that makes it a much more enjoyable experience. Don't get me wrong, BA has a lot more varied designs, BA has a much wider roster, but doesn't matter if I hate BMC. Obviously, if we're looking into my account, I did purchase the Noya skin. I don't regret it at all. I don't use her, but hey. Now, if we're looking at Nana, I didn't get her maid skin. I'm actually going to. And I believe Tilia has a skin as well, but it's the Battle Pass skin, and the Battle Pass has not reset. That's a different story. I keep up with my heart links, relatively speaking. I keep up with my invites. I like this game, and I don't want, I didn't initially know how I was going to feel as they progressed with QOL this patch and so on, but overall it's been great. The events themselves, they're fine. This obviously isn't an event so much as it is just a bonus upon doing the main story, because I think most events have their own event story, like the last Shia event. I like the fact that my discs can be set as my lobby music. For anyone interested, my lobby music is actually Chisosa's. I just normally cut out the game audio when I'm editing these videos. So I do like being able to set that as my lobby theme. They did update this to where outside of the standard options you have here, they added the gallery, which for the gallery of these, they added in some of the side story content, like this one where you could see everybody in their pajamas, the main story edition of your character. Even some of the content from this current patch or this current chapter is here. So you have that as an option. I think the only additional thing I would make is expand this from 5 slots maybe down to 10 or 15 because the Blue Archive needs to do so anyway, so you might as well just do it nonetheless. Are there some downsides? Yes. I still don't have a head pad option, as you see here. I have seen, because this game does have a bit more gameplay than Blue Archive, I have seen a lot of individuals take on builds. As an example, Chitose. If we're looking at her, there are a lot of individuals, like myself, who have gone for auto attack variations of her. And there are skill-based variations of her. Once again, you have some flexibility. I've seen some individuals go through with Fuyuka, but obviously since she's so new, these aren't as set in stone as Chitose, and even now, people are still finding out new things with her, dash canceling and so on. So that's a whole separate side story. And obviously, I want to state, I cannot speak on Ventus because despite having these characters, despite doing a run, this was a light run, as in everyone's level like 40 or 50, not as heavily invested as either one of these other two archetypes, so I won't speak on how Ventus performs. I've seen some unique techs. I've seen a lot of individuals go through supports like Nazuna and Tilia and utilize the marks they apply to deal increased damage because it's multiplicative. Interesting. Not intended, but interesting. I've tested out both Vanguards and Versatiles, and Amber is a Vanguard. She's your starter character. The difference between Amber and Fuyuka is pretty large, but my Ignis team wasn't necessarily built up well enough, and Amber doesn't have as many build guides on her as characters like Fuyuka do. So I don't want to just outright say, yeah, Fuyuka is better. I don't think, and they're equal. I will say Fuyuka is better, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But I don't want to say Fuyuka is just so far and away ahead that you can't use Amber. Because you can. I just didn't focus too hard on it because I didn't have any survivability in that team, which is a big issue, I think. And if you're wondering about my emblems, I do emblems. As you see here, skill damage, crit rate, main skill up, and even my Chitose is running the same thing. Basic attack, skill crit rate, auto attack, that same deal. And so I do I do prioritize emblems for certain characters that I think actually do damage. That's a different story. I think this is a fun game. I recommend this game. The gacha's gotten ragged on a lot, but I'm going to be honest, it's not that bad. You have some individuals partially confused for some weird reasons. The pity counter to when 60 carries over, it resets if you get the character. Obviously, I went to 120, didn't get her. I got a lot of other 5 stars, but none of them were her. So I claimed her, and I'm still, as you see here, 31 away. So this carries. As you see here, will accumulate and carry across all limited banners. I don't know why this was so confusing for some individuals. Are discs mandatory? No. Are they nice? Yes. Every 10 pull gives you a single pull for the disc banner. Your first 10 pull gives you a 10 pull for the disc banner. Ooh, we can do a 10 pull on standard. Do we get anything though? No. You know what? I'll take a floor. Sure, why not? But I recommend this game. I recommend this story. I recommend the gameplay. I am liking a lot about this, and compared to the beta I played, it's a better experience, especially as you can go in with the community and learn things, and there is a solid story. I just hope we get more lower rarities. I think that's the biggest issue. I think Aqua Team is really good. However, I think the reason Aqua Team is really good is because the characters in the Aqua, the characters within the Aqua lower rarities, i.e. Iris and Teresa and even Chimiao, mostly Teresa and Iris, are extremely flexible. And Teresa is your main chunk of survivability. And both of these characters synergize very well with an auto attack Chitose. And so I think a skill variation of her could do really well if we had characters who buffed that. But I think if we're comparing just low rarity 4 stars across all elements, and is kind of your main one. Ignis, you're reliant on pulling Flora. You don't have options for Terra. Your Umbra characters aren't necessarily as supportive. Yes, Cosette is a support character, but she's not a healer. And I think that's an important distinction to make. We need more healers or more shielders. And Teresa is great, which is why I think Chitose wonderfully. Outside of that, you're kind of locked to looking at your 5 stars. And if you get 5 stars, I'd say your most flexible option is either going to be going for a shield variation of Mystique's build or Naz. Nazuna is a pure healer. Go with her. Otherwise, I'm enjoying myself. I like this game. I recommend it. Feel free to add me, tell me your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time.